Good evening, everybody. How you doing tonight? Sorry, it's taken me a couple days to get back to you. I packed up my mom's apartment on Tuesday and we moved her stuff into storage on Wednesday. So I can tell you it's been a couple of long days, and you know what? Attitude was not great. Yep, human. Totally human. It was a challenge for her emotionally. It was a challenge for me emotionally, and not every moment was fabulous. So just so you know, straight up out of the gate here, my thing was attitude. How you doing? Well, I've had some ups and downs over the last 48 hours. So anyway, today I ran 10, and a good run for me is always a great way to fix my attitude, and it definitely worked this time. So anyhow, I could literally spend months on just talking about attitude and all the benefits of really choosing a good attitude. And so that's the first thing I want to talk about, is how attitude is a choice. And somebody was watching and they just jumped off. Yeah, nobody wants to hear that. But our attitude, we can play blame. We can do, it's them, and point all of our fingers out. And yet we can absolutely choose how we're handling our day in and day out, moment to moment. And yes, you can still have sadness. You can still have disappointment. You can still have that whole range of emotions. And it's not or, it's and. And so you can have this whole range of negative emotions, and you can have joy, and you can have happy, right? So it's not always just this negative thing that attitude looks at, when you're having a bad day. It's a choice. And so it's figuring out how to choose those things, right? And so we don't always choose what happens to us. I mean, I'm sorry, coronavirus is not something I would choose, not only to have, nor would I have it happen to this country or anyone. However, we're in it, right? And we can pick how we're going to handle our day in and day out. I spoke with a couple people today, and they're like watching the news every 5 minutes. They're freaking out, and they keep watching more news, and they keep freaking out. And so stop. Pick and choose what you're going to watch and when you're going to watch it and how much of it you're going to watch. And I remember way back when the Gulf War started, right? We were all, those of us who were around, were glued to the television when all of that was happening. And it was challenging to separate yourself from that, and had a couple days off of school, and we all just gathered around, and it was crazy. It was like the first war that was happening right on television. And this is like that too. And so to distance yourself from the TV, watch a little bit in the morning. I'm not saying to just deny everything that's happening. However, watch a little in the morning. Watch maybe local in the morning, world at night for half an hour, and then move on to something funny and something uplifting, or read a book, and find all those millions of other things that you can do to separate yourself out from the crazy. So we don't always choose what happens, but we always choose how we respond. And then a couple thoughts. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. No, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And I learned that from John Maxwell. And it's really about, we can learn in our failures, and we can learn through this whole thing. We can learn that there's probably more options out there than you realize. I have a couple of hairdresser friends who are getting in their car and going to people's houses, or they're selling more products so that they're dropping off hair care products, so that they can still keep businesses alive. And I'm seeing people on Zoom, and I've been doing that for a while. However, people who would normally come and see me who live really close are checking out on the phone, and we're checking out on Zoom. And we had a Zoom meeting today that probably wouldn't have ever happened because we're all in different spots and times and places. And so I had a lovely connection today with some new friends. And so just realizing that you have a lot more options will help you figure out that sometimes you win and sometimes you learn through these things. And what are you learning? I'm learning I love having dinner with my kids. I'm learning that I don't have to always pick the menu. I'm learning that other people in the house can cook. I'm learning that I don't have to do everything, and I don't have to be the martyr mom. And there's definitely a different way to do life than we realize. So let's think about the options that we have for our attitude, and the options that we can take in as we move forward. And then, none of us are really in our comfort zone right now, but I want to talk about our comfort zone, because your comfort zone right now, where is it? Right? We're not in our comfort zone right now. We're either anxious or whatever, and you can choose to be in a comfort zone right now. You can lay back, you can stay in bed, you can be like drinking wine all day and just like numbing out to this whole thing, or you can be in the courage zone. One of my health coaches that I work with made a whole bunch of masks. She's a great quilter, and instead of using her sewing talents, she made a bunch of masks and took them over to the local hospital, right? And so there are, to keep our healthcare workers healthy, right? So there's things that you can do. Think about all of your talents and all of your skills and do those things. Like, those are the times that you can get out of your comfort zone and get into your courageous zone and use your skills and talents for good. So today we're talking about attitude, and hopefully I've given you, a little piece of that as you as we all move forward. Having a bad attitude is really energy draining. And so figuring out how you can work in your head to have a better attitude more often than not is really going to be really key to winning on this other side. And having a negative attitude all the time also depletes your immune system. All that negative chemistry that happens in your head happens through your whole body. So that's not going to help you either, right? So what can we do here? We can assess all of our options, right? We can move into courageous choices. We can have gratitude. Just stop and think, like, okay, we still have a roof, we still have food, wherever you're at. Like, there are things that you can be very gracious about and have gratitude. Move into your faith and pray or meditate a little bit more. Sorry about that. Breathe, right? We all have to breathe a little bit more than we have been. And take a walk, take a run, do what you can outside to get some fresh air. And I'm just going to leave you with finding your faith, right? For me, that's made a huge difference, just to know, hey, there's a bigger plan. I may not understand it right now. I just know that there is one, and there's a bigger universe, bigger God in my world. There's a big God out there taking care of all of us. So check your attitude at the door and control what you can, and you can control you. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can control you. So talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.